thanks to the support as a channel member, Joshua Selig. Oh, not that I want to get too ahead of myself and count my chickens before they're hatched, but I think we're pretty much safe in the Premier League. And there's a very real chance we could win the FA Cup. Hello, welcome to Club 2, Part 19 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we're away against Arsenal in the Premier League, and a win in that will guarantee us safety, I think. And we're also at home against West Ham in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Since you were last with me, form has continued to be mixed, and we did the diamond for a bit. It looked like it was working for a while, in so much as it worked for one match. I mean, it has got us through the FA Cup comfortably against lesser opposition. We're playing all the teams that begin with W: Wigan, Watford, now West Ham. But it hasn't looked great, particularly against Crystal Palace. We were very poor. We actually switched fairly early on in the match against Chelsea back to the... No, sorry, it was against Crystal Palace we switched to the 4-3-3, got a goal back, but couldn't get the 2 goals back that we needed. Started the 4-3-3 against Chelsea and looked a lot better. So we are back with the 4-3-3. This is what the Premier League looks like. 30 games gone, 38 points on the board. So, I mean, 40 points has been the target for safety, but to be honest, being 11 points clear with 8 games remaining, we are just about there already. Adam Eder, remember when he was nearly scoring as many as Erling Haaland? Erling Haaland's quite good. But the most interesting thing for me at this point, I think, is how the FA Cup has opened up. Only really Chelsea, as a team we should be properly afraid of, left in it. I mean, obviously the likes of West Ham, Leicester, Villa, they're capable of beating us any day of the week, but we're also capable of pulling off a bit of a fluke result against them. If we can make it past West Ham and avoid Chelsea, we've got a real chance. And obviously a win against West Ham is a trip to Wembley as well in the semi-final. So that will be exciting stuff. But first up, it's Arsenal in the Premier League. Like I say, back with the 4-3-3. And this is the team we're putting out there. We've got Blanco in goal. At left back, we've got Oscar. Had you seen we'd signed Oscar? I think we were trying to sign him in the last episode. He might not have actually arrived, but Oscar is our new left back, former Spanish under-18 international. He's a natural left back, can also play right back as well, but he is completely left-footed. So he sometimes shifts in during the match over to right back if needed, but he is very much a left back, and he starts at left back for us alongside Valenti, De Klerk and Pascozzi. At right back, we still haven't solved the right back issue. I get that a lot of people would suggest Simon Darlington is the man who should be slotting in there. Why is he ineligible? I think it's, because he's played for the youth team today. He is slowly getting towards Premier League level. And like I say, 14 substitute appearances this season. It's not like we've ignored that he exists, but it's probably a little early for him to be starting regularly in the Premier League. Next year, hopefully, Darlington goes back into that position that he was in for us in the Championship. It's why I'm not desperate to bring a right back in. But Pascozzi starts there today. Whiteman at the base of the midfield, Scott and Chong ahead of him, then Sartori on the left, Ross on the right, and Adam Eder up front in the Premier League on his own, the way it was always supposed to be. This is where he was and what he was doing when he was scoring goals earlier on in the season. It's also where he was when he stopped scoring goals a little bit later on in the season, which is why we had to move to the diamond and try him with a partner and try playing without him at all. And I think the problem we've got is these top teams like Arsenal have started playing their first teams against us. If you look at that 11 at Arsenal, that is a very strong Arsenal 11 compared to when we played them earlier in the season, a much weaker 11 because we had a massively low reputation. They expected to beat us, so they put a rotated team out. We've now moved beyond the point where teams are rotating against us, and the gap of quality between us and our opponents is starting to show. But we have got a good young team, a bunch of players who are going to get better, and hopefully we start to close that gap, both with signings and with young players developing as time goes on. And unfortunately, neither of them are really helpful for Adam Eder, who I think is 27 years old now. He's as good as he's ever going to be, and I think he's got 15 goals this season. I think it's becoming clear that as good as he's ever going to be, he's a good Championship striker, and one of those guys who can hover around in a lower Premier League team and get like 8 goals a season and be fine. And that's not really the kind of striker I'm interested in having. So I don't know how long Adam Eder is going to be a part of this team for, We're giving him another opportunity today. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. That's a lovely goal from Arsenal, though. A frustratingly good goal from an Arsenal team that doesn't seem to have Odegaard in. But Vieira looks like he's just stepped into his role. And, I mean, he was quite good there, wasn't he? Jesus now down the right-hand side, making us look like rascals. And then Saka and Blanco manages to get a hand to it. Martinelli follows in. This is a dangerously good Arsenal team. And, yeah, this could be a mess today. This is an Arsenal team that are top of the Premier League as well. It's not just a good Arsenal team. This is currently the best team in the Premier League. And they look like it so far. Ida doing some good work there, holding the ball up, and Sartori gives it to Oscar. And this is quite good play from all involved. Chong has now burst out the midfield. If Chong can find a finish here, which he can't, why, oh why, is he not just drilling that into that bottom corner, the far post? Everything I ever learned as a kid when old people were trying to coach me into being a footballer and never quite got the job done. But even I know in that situation, he should be drilling that across goal into the far corner. No way should he be just side-footing it into the hands of the goalkeeper at the near post. He's tried to be too clever there. Just do the basics. Drill it across goal. You might score. It might take a deflection off the keeper. There might be someone following in who can... There's so many reasons, so many football fundamentals that mean he should be drilling that across goal there. He's not good enough to do the fancy option. As demonstrated, he tried the fancy option and ballsed it up completely. Still 1-0 to Arsenal at half-time. We've not looked completely outclassed, but at the same time, we've not looked at all like getting back into this game. The one good chance is that one that fell to Chong, and he messed it up big style, didn't he? I'm looking at my bench, wondering who we bring on to try and get us an equaliser, and do we change the shape? I think we leave ourselves with the 4-3-3, but there are personnel within it that need to change. And I think we're going to bring on Brobby and Reyes and see if between the two of them, they can maybe get us a breakthrough. And Chong's going to come off as well. And we'll bring on Rafa for him. 3 changes, 3 different attacking options. You never know. One of them might grab a goal from somewhere. Whiteman with the free kick from deep, looking for de Klerk, who is very, very good in the air. But unfortunately, is beaten in the air there. Is that Raheem Sterling playing for Arsenal? He wasn't on the pitch a minute ago. There seems to be some strength in depth in this Arsenal team. He certainly wasn't on at the start. If that is Raheem Sterling, it could, of course, be a different Sterling. We'll have a look when we get onto the in-betweeny screen in a minute. And look, I mean, they're just better than us, aren't they? It's very troubling. Aaron's charging into the area. Jesus has dropped deep and just drills it across goal from the edge. I mean, Chong, take note. You do the basics. He just drills it across goal. It ends up in the back of the net. Why couldn't Chong do that? Can we swap Chong for Jesus? I think that would be an upgrade for this team. It's just a very good goal. The keeper maybe could have done a little bit better with that. It is Sterling has come on. They've got Raheem Sterling on the bench. Right, Oscar is tired, so Ballo-Touré can come on for him. Sartori is tired, and we don't really have anyone to come on for him. I guess we can put Brobby over onto the left-hand side. Scott can go out onto the right wing, and we can bring Harvey White on in midfield. Scott, I think, probably needs to be a winger out on that right-hand side, so we'll make him a winger. Brobby can go across to be an inside forward. 2-0 isn't embarrassing. The problem is, if we go another 4 or 5 games with the 4-3-3 and don't win any of them, the game then decides again that the system doesn't work. Even though I know this is the best system for these players, once the game decides the system doesn't work and gives you that inbox message saying, oh, you won't change your tactics, you then have to do something different for a few matches. Even though it's less effective, it magically becomes more effective in the match engine. You're like on a timeout from using the system that we know works, even though it's completely reasonable for us to draw against Chelsea and lose against Arsenal. That's what we're supposed to do. That's no judgment on whether or not this tactic works. I think the fact it's only 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, it's a good finish from Reyes, but I think he's offside. The fact that we've kept it so tight against the best team in the Premier League, to me, is a demonstration that this tactic works. But the game only looks at results. It is a lovely goal from Reyes. It is counting. Pascozzi plays it forward to Reyes. This is a promising sign for the future. in the whole will he end up surpassing Ida and becoming our main starting striker thing. That was a lovely goal. 2-1 in the end. I've got to be happy with it, but I imagine the game's going to tell me how rubbish I am because we didn't win. There we go. Youthful Preston come unstuck. Preston make it 5 without a win. Yeah, but we're playing well. That should be. It was away against Arsenal. That was fine. We do need to beat QPR in our next game, though, just to get the game off my back. But first, West Ham. FA Cup quarter-final. So a few changes for the West Ham game as we try and secure that spot at Wembley. We've got Ballo-Touré coming back in at left-back, Burns at centre-back alongside Valenti, and Walters as a proper right-back in at right-back. Harvey White's going to be at the base of a midfield of Carrasco and Rafa, and Reyes comes in for Ida up top. I say a few changes. That's like half the team have changed. I know the system is right. I think the system is right. I'm still not 100% that we have the right combination of players within the system. We're very much a work in progress. A work in progress that isn't going to get relegated. I am like pretty sure. But we do still need to work out who the players we're going to keep around next year are. See, I'm already thinking long-term at Preston, mainly because there's been no other clubs come in for me yet. But I'm thinking in terms of who, oh my word, Walters has nearly stuck that in from the edge of the area. Who are we going to keep around over the summer? And what positions do we potentially need to strengthen? Burns has come very close there from the set piece. I mean, we've had 2 opportunities there in the first minute and a half where we've hit the crossbar. But unfortunately, it remains 0-0. So Torre's got in behind here, though, cuts it back. He's looking for White, but he's cut it back a bit too far. Reyes was in the middle, and really, he could have just gone with Reyes, and it would have been a whole lot easier. Off the top of my head, fiddlesticks. Well, that's West Ham 1-0 up after less than 5 minutes. I was about to start talking about transfer plans, but I guess we might have to focus back in on this game now. I am thinking we probably do still need a right back, like a proper right back. Walters is fine. And obviously Darlington might get there, but it does seem to be a bit of a weakness we've got at the moment. Maybe one more centre back. The midfield, I think, are all pretty solid, but just need experience. So maybe we bring in one experienced midfielder to go with all of the youngsters that we've got just to help them along. And then I think as a starting front 3, this 3 are probably good, but maybe not quite there yet. So again, maybe we just need to bring in some slightly more experienced players to play with them. Ida, I think, probably gets that job done, but I'm not sure about the likes of Chong, Woodburn. I think they're the players that we probably need to be replacing. Realistically, it's most of the championship squad are the ones that we probably need to be looking to move on and upgrade on. The players that we've signed since hitting the Premier League, they're all good enough or will be good enough. It's the ones from last year, and Reyes has done brilliantly here. And unfortunately, his shot is straight at the now injured West Ham goalkeeper. I can only assume Reyes has hit that so hard that he's broken their goalkeeper, and fingers crossed, that should lead to some set-piece joy here. The corner from Carrasco is aimed at Reyes, but he can't get there, and West Ham now looking to bring the ball away. If we could get a tackle in here, that'd be super. Rafa does get the tackle in. Wonderful stuff. Is that Christian Eriksen? That is Christian Eriksen playing for West Ham. They've got some players you wouldn't expect to be West Ham players. It was Mitrovic who got the goal. They've got Eriksen in midfield. Reyes has come deep here and plays out to Walters. We've not seen a lot from Ross since we started messing around with the system. I think he's probably been hurt by that more than anybody, but Reyes is in here, and I think he's run from onside. The referee's got his finger in his ear, but fingers crossed it's only a temporary measure. Come on, ref. That's got to count. He looked like he ran from so deep. And he did, and it's 1-1. Beautiful stuff. Walters doing well on the right-hand side. Looks to play it across. It takes a big deflection. Rafa then nods it down, and Reyes has got between the 2 centre-backs and run from behind them to burst through and grab the equaliser. Reyes is starting to look like the real deal. What I was saying about Ross is Ross was fantastic before we started messing around with the tactic. But I think that 6 games or so where he played up front or dropped out of the team seems to have just taken his momentum away. He was looking excellent first half of the season, and he's now struggling a little bit. He is still very young, and obviously you would expect him to turn it around and pick up some form again. You've got to expect young players to be a little bit inconsistent, and he did start the season incredibly well, but this is where having another option on that right-hand side would be handy, so we could maybe rest him for a few matches. But Sartore's come down this left-hand side, finds Ross, who heads it from the edge of the area, but it's just straight into the hands of the West Ham goalkeeper. Reyes was lurking again now, and Reyes always looks like scoring. He is looking like the answer up front currently. Carrasco has given the ball away in midfield. That's a really heavy touch from him. And now Burns has given away a penalty. I think it's a very soft penalty. The ref is consulting with VAR again. I'd like to see this not given, because it looks to me like Burns wins the ball and then it's just a bit of a fall over from the West Ham. It is no penalty. It happens so infrequently in Football Manager, you don't expect to ever see it, but it looked like a soft penalty. It never was a penalty. Burns comes along, makes a fair challenge. It remains 1-1. And now we've got it all to play for. Half an hour to go. We're going to offer some encouragement. There's a place at Wembley on the line, an FA Cup semi-final on the line. Can we find a winner from somewhere? We are going to take off Ross. We're going to bring Brobby on that right-hand side. That seems like a pretty easy change to make. Rafa is going to come off for... I think we're going to bring Chong on to play out of central midfield. And then we'll just take off Walters and bring on... I don't want to bring on Oscar because he's so left-footed. We'll bring on Pascozzi to play right back because what's-his-face, Walters, was starting to tire as well. We want something from Brobby here. It's not really the best position to be playing with. I prefer him off the left-hand side, cutting in, but Sartore has been pretty decent so far. Harvey White now needs to come off. We're going to swap those two over, and then I think we are going to take off Reyes and bring on Ida. Sartore could potentially go over onto the right, let Brobby be the inside forward, and Sartore could be the winger. That might be the best option for these final 10 minutes or so. I'm not sure at the quarterfinal stage if this goes to a replay or if we hit extra time. I guess we're about to find out, unless we score from this corner. It's Carrasco looking for that in-swinger. We've got players lurking at that far post. Valente is the man I think we're aiming at. In fact, it goes to Burns. Chong heads it back into there. Chong with another effort from range, but it goes over. And that's probably the last attack of normal time. And it is straight into extra time, it looks like. So no replays in the quarterfinal. I think this means we can make one more substitution. And I'm looking at the bench to see who could potentially come on. We've got two left backs and Ben Woodburn as options to come on. So I think we probably take off old man Balotore. We're going to bring on Thierry Small and hopefully get that extra bit of energy from the fullback position again. And this is where, again, a more experienced Premier League quality wide player would have been quite nice to bring on for Sartore there, but I just think Ben Woodburn's a downgrade coming on in that position at this stage of the game. And that emphasises some of these areas where we still need more players. But Burns has given the ball away there, but Blanco makes a fantastic save to push it around the post and keep us in it. West Ham have a corner. Ericsson to take. We could really use with Blanco just coming out and catching this. Valente heads it straight back out to Ericsson again, who's going to have another pop at putting it in the area. In fact, he doesn't. Scott wins the ball back, and now we've got a counter-attack on. Scott lumps it forward. Adam Ida was offside and was trying to come back onside, and the ball was just mistimed. If Ida had been in a position to chase that, that's 2-1, because that's Ida's bread and butter. He'd just got offside. He'd gone a little early and was trying to get back on. And the pass probably should have been delayed to let him get back onside. Valente intercepting again, gives it to Blanco, who lumps it forward, looking for Ida. He's got no one anywhere near him and misses the header anyway. I mean, we need to get some players up there supporting Adam Ida. We're playing on an attacking mentality. How have we got a centre forward so isolated when we're playing on an attacking mentality? That should be Brobby's territory, getting right up alongside him. He's playing as an inside forward. Ida shouldn't ever be that on his own. Ball forward again from Blanco. Ida again is completely on his own, but this time does win the ball, nods it down to Sartore, and now Scott with the ball over the top. Ida with a flick onto Brobby, who has got up alongside him now, and Brobby scores! And, I mean, it's like I'm coaching them. I'm like a real manager. Oh, come on, that can't be offside. That's exactly what I was asking. Has Brobby gone too far? He hasn't! Wonderful stuff. This is what was supposed to happen when we put Brobby up to inside forward. Get him up alongside Ida. Ida wins the flick on Brobby. Has all the time and space he could ever want. It's a very tight angle. It's a fantastic finish. And it's 2-1 to Preston, just on the stroke of half-time in extra time. That is great work from Ida. And West Ham are going to be very disappointed that they've left Brobby completely unmarked at that far post. But I am delighted. It's 2-1. Just hold on now, lads. I know the comments section are probably screaming at me to come off attacking mentality, especially if we end up going on and not winning this match. I refuse. Ida's got the ball. Surely Adam Ida has made it 3-1. It's an absolute howler from the goalkeeper. That's why you stay on attacking mentality, boys and girls. Not that it would have made any difference to that goal, but I'm claiming it as managerial genius. That's awful from their goalkeeper. Just passes it straight to Ida, who actually shows great composure here to not rush it. I think if I get the ball there, I just poke it back towards goal and the keeper collects it. But Ida's just taking his time. He knows there's no defenders anywhere near him. Rounds the keeper, tucks it away. 3-1. Dare we sing the song? Are we going to Wembley? Ida trying to hold the ball up again. Can't keep hold of it this time, but it's some good pressing from Ida. And look, he's come on. Adam Ida wants to go to Wembley. Look at him. He is everywhere. There's Ida heading clear from inside the penalty area. There he is again. Adam Ida's everywhere. He's heard me praising Reyes and wants to remind everyone that he's still the man at Preston North End. It's the shot from the edge of the area from West Ham and it goes over. And can we just have the full time? I know there's 10 minutes left. I'd like the full-time whistle now. Please look at those match stats. We've been so much better than West Ham. You can't argue that we don't deserve this. Yes, we had a little bit of a gift with the third goal, but we are good value to be ahead in this game. But West Ham are now bombarding us, trying to get back into it. And Blanco, once again, that goalkeeper is 18 years old. And once again, keeping us in a football match. 3-1, 7 minutes of extra time remaining. How Christian Eriksen is still going, I don't know. He's older than I am. And the ball is headed. He might not quite be that old. He just feels like he's been around forever. But time is ticking now on this match. And this has got to be it. We've got like 30 seconds of extra time remaining and a 2-goal cushion. We can't balls it up from here. Surely Scott bursts into the area, hits the post. How many times have we hit the frame of the goal today? And that's brilliant again from Pascozzi, just not letting West Ham get a counter-attack going. Everyone on this pitch has been phenomenal for us today. Ida collects, and that's it. Is it it? I thought that was the full-time whistle. It's not. Me and 23,000 people have gone a little early there, but that should be it now. Come on. Ref, are we ready? Are we done? Referee, whistle. Who is this time even for? Even if they score, it's not going to be enough, I hope. Pascozzi's done brilliantly again, and there is the full-time whistle. We are off to Wembley. That, of course, is going to be tomorrow's video, an FA Cup semi-final. Do we know who we're playing yet? We don't yet know who we're playing. I guess we're waiting for a draw. Still in the competition, there's us, Chelsea, Southampton, and Cardiff. Cardiff would be useful. If we could have Cardiff, that would be nice. Southampton are 11th, so roughly where we are in the league. We're, what are we, 13th? The one we want to avoid is Chelsea, although to be fair, it's a Chelsea team down in 10th place who are also having a struggle of a season. This is a winnable FA Cup. We might not get another opportunity like this anytime soon. Please give us a favourable draw. We want an FA Cup final. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.